I want to follow up on a company that we talked about pretty recently on the podcast that had some interesting news. Todd, do you want to go from here?
I think it's perfect time to mention this because one of the things we're discussing is the various ways that companies tie up with one another. And, one of those ways is through licensing deals. And one of the most, I guess, talked about drugs to make it to market in 2015 was Mankind's Afrezza, a drug that, had a circuitous path to approval. It's an inhaled insulin. A lot of people thought this could be a reshape dramatically how diabetics treat themselves on a daily basis. They inked a deal, Sanofi did, with Mankind. Sanofi is going to be as the co-marketer. They licensed basically the rights to the drug to market the drug and to split costs and potential profit. And unfortunately, the deal didn't pan out. Even though the FDA approved the Afrezza and it's been on the market since last February, sales have been, anemic.
And so Sanofi, as was their right, walked away. They said no
Yeah,
thanks.
I mean, it's a pretty, we had talked about this in prior episodes and it's been written about on the Motley Fool website about how Sanofi had the option to exit the partnership in January. And that was certainly a real risk given that the sales weren't ramping up. One of the other things that investors always have to look at and say, okay, does the deal make sense? Does the licensing deal make sense? And if the drug isn't going to sell, is there a risk that the value in the company that's licensing the drug is going to change dramatically if that person walks away? And that's exactly what we've seen in the course of the past week since Sanofi's made its announcement that it's stepping aside. So I think that investors have to realize that just because a company licenses a drug doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a slam dunk that the company who developed the drug is going to thrive.
Yeah, there are tremendous risks all across the board. And by the way, Christine and Todd are both being a little bit humble about this whole thing, so I'm going to go ahead and talk it up a little bit. You both on a previous episode had basically been like, we don't really see it being that likely that Sanofi is going to stay in this deal. And you're right. Here at the Motley Fool, we believe in calling ourselves out when we're wrong, and it happens. It's happened to all of us. But I just want to call out the two of you for nailing this one.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. Probably a good time to remind everybody that people on the show could have interest in the stocks that they talk about. Motley Fool could have formal recommendations for or against. So as much as I know you want to put your faith in just what Todd and I say from here on out, don't buy or sell stocks based solely on what you hear.